So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our video of Moon Mars conjunction in the fifth house of your birth chart. And this is going to be the conjunction of Moon and Mars in the sign of Leo for Aries ascendant people. As in, what happens when this is a conjunction that's in the fifth house in Leo, while the first, fourth, and eighth lord are in the fifth house. And as always, if you do not know if you have this particular position, what sign it's in, what nakshatra it's in, all the other astrological details, for that, check out the links here. Check out my full astrological report, including my books, consultations, and link to my academy, Vedic Astrology Academy, where I'm going to be making the video very soon. I'm gathering all the notes and making some PPT related to predicting, taking one sign and predicting and all the ascendants without planets. So, one funny thing is about this particular placement, okay? And it's nothing negative that I want to discuss. It's just sexual in nature. It's sexual in nature, and this is something you only want to say in private, because then other people will start doubting things, doubting someone, and you don't want to create doubts. But the first thing you will see is that especially your mother would be very encouraging you and very motivating related to your sports, your physical activity. And it also shows me this is a particular position where you're going to, early on, mother would be the main source of attaining money. Mother would be the main source of attaining money. Mother also becomes a great advisor related to your career and education. And usually education for these people would either take place or they will love attaining education in fields of chemical engineering. Okay. They love going into obviously technology, like I said, technology, engineering, economics. Yet also with the birth of children, again, one attains property. But one thing you will see, if you have an elder sibling, when your elder sibling gets married, you and your mother will have a fight or a dispute with the elder sibling related to property. So that's something you will see, but only if you have an elder sibling, and especially if that elder sibling is a brother. The other thing we also see with this particular position is that one will get some injury. Usually it happens towards the knee area, either like the side of the thigh or like towards the knee and the side of the thigh. And it'll happen while you're chasing something. For example, as a kid, you will chase some ball. Let's say you're playing basketball. Ball goes out of bounds and you chase it, and you fall. So that will have some form of a scar. That'll be very prominent. Usually this occurs like in Mars-Jupiter period. Mars-Jupiter period, you will see this. The other thing we also see, you become a child with your children. You kind of like relive your childhood. Many people who say this, oh, I'm living my childhood again with my children. Not somebody else will not be. Somebody else will be more focused on, hey, are you doing your work? I have to work. How's your school? They will not be like feeling that, oh, I have to become this child. But for these people, they become that child with children. And this is where we naturally see that such people become great parents. But when it comes to them raising their children, most definitely, when it comes to sports, it's like they will have this thing. So of course, my audio went out right when I was saying something important. And of course, I should have looked at the Prashna when trying to make this video at this particular time. But the funny thing is, I waited 10 minutes to recharge my audio receiver. And by that time, it was a different ascendant. So anyway, here's another secret. Just to learn planets through ascendant. Once you know the ascendant, all you have to do is look at the planets The house, the sign. But the Karka, don't forget the Karka. What is this planet the Karka of? And if it's conjunct a planet, what is that planet a Karka of? Also, who is the Karka of that particular house? So, for example, fifth house is controlled by Jupiter. He is the significator of the fifth house. So here Jupiter will play a strong significance as well. And this is why here Mars or any planet is forced to learn something. So even Saturn in the fifth house, Rahu in the fifth house, Ketu in the fifth house, you're here to learn something, which is Jupiter. And that planet infuses their quality as to what they're going to learn. But also one important thing you should also see here is the Padha. Padha. Because now we know we're dealing with Aries ascendant. Okay? Because we know Mars is in the fifth house, we know the Aruda Padha is in the ninth. This person will serve their father. Their whole life's link is to be developed through the father, developed through the guru. And when does a guru come in this person's life? Is when they have a break in education, and there will be a break in education. It doesn't mean that you will never be able to complete your education. No, there will be just a break. For example, it's in the fifth house. Fifth house is also romance. Moon is there, the mind. This person becomes very aggressive and very strongly tied to the romances in their life. So what happens when a romance breaks? Most romances break. Okay? And with Mars in the fifth house, it will break it. It is a planet that cuts. What happens? This person gets tremendous amount of anger and mental frustration. They may not go through depression unless, of course, we know Saturn is there or Saturn is aspecting this particular conjunction, but that anger is there. And especially when that break in education happens due to, let's say, romance. I'm not saying it's going to be through romance. It could be through other things as well. Okay, I've seen many things. But that is when the guru comes in. That is when the ninth pada becomes active. Because Mars has to do something, right? In the fifth house. Mars' Karkavasta is about cutting, like a surgeon. Cutting, breaking, right? So when the education gets cut, when the romance gets cut, it has now activated its pada also within the ninth house. And especially for this person, father's admiration, father's approval becomes the most important thing. Mother, yes, mother will always plead you all day long. Okay? Mother will plead you all day long, you wouldn't even care. But men and women both will complain about, I never heard my father say I love you. I never heard my father say this, father say that, father praising me. Because one automatically knows mother is always going to be there. So here this particular person is looking for the admiration of the father. Like in the last conjunction, one would look for the admiration of the spouse. They need approval of the spouse. Here this person needs approval of the father because that is where their padha lies. They need approval of the guru. And because of that padha being in the ninth, this person goes to a foreign place. But remember, just with the Mars in the fifth house, I said there will be a break in trying to travel to foreign lands as well. And especially in foreign lands, one injures their feet. There's a cut where it'll bleed, even if it's a little one. And that particular cut will activate your spiritual nadi. When you go to foreign lands, when you go to some, far away pilgrimage or destination and your feet gets cut, that is activating your nadi, spiritual nadi. Somehow that cut becomes kind of like an unlocking of things or unlocking of something. And especially, you will have to deal with tremendous amount of competition in your education. And of course, sports is competition, so we don't even want to say that. Yet at the same time, this does become a particular placement where a person will cheat in their exams, will cheat, especially in high school. They will have their friend help them, especially a friend will help them. So these things happen. Now, of course, there's a lot of other things happen as well. But like I said, I only discuss that in a private reading when I know somebody has passed a certain age or so. And this is with any house. It's nothing just with this house. It's any house. You get to learn more. But of course, if you go to my Vedic Astrology Simplified course, then you get to know everything. Okay. So anyway, guys, this was my analysis of Moon and Mars in the 5th house of your birth chart. Otherwise, if you're new to my channel, subscribe below so you don't miss these type of videos. And if you want to know everything about astrology and your chart, check out the links here. Otherwise, we'll see you later.